Nice.
Excellent.
Have we done sound checks that it's going through? Like
Yes.
the buttons are on?
I can see the button.
Yeah, because we don't want to do what we did.
We don't want to do it. We don't want to do it last time.
Yeah.
We're much more cautious now, aren't we?
Yeah, I know. Ever since that time that we recorded the whole episode with no audio.
But it is on.
It is on.
All right.
And we are on.
Yeah. Just let us know if you can hear us.
Yeah, if you're watching this on YouTube and there's no audio, please
Just
tell
wave.
us. Yeah. What's that? It's a pity
Oh,
we don't
there you
know.
are. Yeah, I see
Yeah,
you.
we don't know sign language, so we can't even do that. How's your lip reading? So anyway. All right, that's enough. Welcome to the AusTableTalk podcast. My name is Luke, and I'm here at the table with Emerson and Shannon. Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes.
So how are you guys today? What is like?
Good.
What is the highlight of your week? What is just like coming in strong
Oh.
at the top of the list?
Do you want to?
You go. You go.
Well, at the beginning of this week, and it kind of started at the end of last week, but we went down to Sunshine Coast for my wife Zoe's best friend. She was getting baptized, and we got to spend time with her baby as well and the family there, and it was really cute and amazing, and got to do a lot of cuddles and walks and
With the baby?
with the baby.
Oh, good.
Yeah. More with the baby this time. But yeah, it was really good. And then my wife also picked up a baritone from Brisbane. I did the
As in the
driving.
singer or the...
No. A baritone horn, brass instrument.
Yep.
Her dad saw it down in Melbourne and got it for her. And then, yeah, we're paying for it. And went and picked it up, and that was really good.
Nice.
And almost
Cool.
burnt my clutch out reversing back up the driveway because it was a really steep
Oh, no.
driveway. And I went in there and I
How do I get
parked
out?
it, and I'm like,
Should have
this is
parked on the
gonna
street.
be this is gonna be interesting. Turned it off, got it, said hi to the people, and then got back in the car. I'm like, okay, how am I gonna do this? And I was like, "Rah!" And it was like really, really slowly going up because it doesn't have as much power as I thought. And then you could smell the clutch after it or
No.
wherever. And then the guy came out. I was like, "Are you all good?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, now I'm just putting in the maps and everything," but because I had stopped.
Yeah.
Well, luckily, you're never going to see that person again. So
Yes.
it can be as embarrassing as you like.
Yeah, I'm pretty good at that. So
Being embarrassing.
yeah, being embarrassing and owning up to it and coming back and being more embarrassing again.
Yeah.
So it's not a one-off offense.
Oh, dear.
But it's good.
That's cool. No, I went to the Easter camp that the region runs at Mondrian Dam, and it was just a real blessing. Great speakers, great group of people came. It's probably quieter than usual because it wasn't on last year. Got to meet a lot of the Gympie church crew, which was cool.
Nice.
They're a good group. Yeah, that was good.
Nice.
A nice Sabbath out in nature, and catching up with people I hadn't seen for a while. And then Sunday, we went boating. A huge nap. Yeah, that was good.
I love the fact the nap made the highlight reel.
In the rooftop
Yeah.
tent. Oh, the best sleep ever up there. So good. Yeah, no, it was good.
Cool.
That was definitely a highlight.
Yeah.
And what about you?
Me oh boy. This week I don't understand how I'm at Thursday, so it all feels like a blurry mass. But I'm probably gonna say the thing that's standing out to me is on Sunday we went to my parents' property, and my dad's got bees and so I helped
Yeah, the
helped him
bees.
service the hives, and so. Anyway, that's a long story. Did you know that when you're keeping bees, it's like you are, governor of a little world, and so
Wow.
yeah, my uncle is he's been doing it for decades on decades, and my dad's only got into it over the last couple of years, and so as we're doing it, he's called my uncle, who is over there on video call on WhatsApp, and so Dad's got a post that he's put in the ground next to the beehive, so he's got with a magnet on it, so he can put his phone on it, and my uncle can watch him work, and so he puts it on. It's like, what do you reckon about this? And my uncle's like, okay, so you want to move those frames onto that side, and what's in those frames? Is larvae in those frames? Okay, so that you want to have them over here, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do that. And I'm like, this is a whole new world. Man. So anyway, it was fun. It was
That's
nice
awesome.
to spend time with them. So it's good.
Very cool.
So
Yeah.
as for like today, as in this particular episode, just to get us to the topic here, we've been chatting. This is something we were talking about last week, and we did. If you were watching our last episode, we did like a bunch of rapid fire questions, and that was a lot of fun. It was great. One of the questions that we did not use because we thought it was big enough to require its own episode was: is it okay to be angry with God? And so that's what we're coming back to today. So I'm sure there's places we can go, verses we can look at. We're going to do that. But I thought I would start by asking you guys, have you been angry with God?
No, I don't think I have.
No?
No.
Okay.
Maybe.
Thankfully, I
Yeah.
don't think I've ever had anything happen to me so horrible that I would get angry with God. No.
Mm.
Yeah.
See, I'm not sure if I would exactly call it angry, but there was a moment where I was not quite happy with God because I was like just getting to high school and I was really lonely, and I've talked about this a little bit before because all my friends went to different high schools and they went to like Christian sort of high schools. Then I went to a state school and I'm like, I don't feel like I fit in here, all of this stuff, and I don't have any friends, and people invited me into their groups. Then they, after a day or two, they ignore me. And so I was like, and I'm like, okay, God, if I'm still where I am at the moment, because I had a spot where I sat, if I'm still here by next year, I'm going to dig up this cross that was there making with 2 sticks and some like grass, tying it all together, buried it. And I was like, if I'm still here next year, I'm like, I don't know. And I feel like I was getting to the point, but I didn't want to say it, that I was going to be done. Sort of thing, like,
But you kind of felt like you were giving God an ultimatum.
Ultimatum as well.
Yeah.
And then the week after, handball came around, and then friends invited me, and they stayed through all.
Yeah.
And I was like,
they were your people.
Yeah, they were my people at
Nice.
high school, and that was really good. And it was kind of getting to that point where I was not really happy with God, but I'm not sure if I would say I was like really angry and like, oh, why would you do this, God? type
So
thing.
you made a little cross out of sticks and buried it.
Yeah.
We're so theatrical.
Well, I did drama.
I was going to say, this is Shannon. This is
Very
Shannon.
Yeah.
dramatic.
Yeah.
Because I was just
there you
sitting
go.
there and I'm going through my head and I was just like, because I'm like, I need people interactions. Even though I'm more of an introvert, I can't handle being
Totally alone, right?
totally alone
Mhm.
and just, I need that.
I think it's a bit of a misunderstanding that introverts don't need people. They need people. They just don't recharge by being with people, right?
So it's fun and amazing spending time, but I need that recharge. But when it's like with a phone, if you keep your battery charging, your phone's gonna, when you unplug it, like if you have it on for a week, you unplug it and then the battery goes down really fast because you're ruining your battery. And I feel like it's a little like that where if you're always with no one as an introvert, you're gonna suffer. If you're an extrovert and you're just constantly with people non-stop and it's like party 24/7 basically,
You still need a break.
You burn
you
out.
still need a break. You're gonna burn out. That happens quite a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I'm a super extrovert. I'm very extroverted, but there is a limit, and sometimes it's just like, you know what, I'm really done.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going.
Yeah.
yeah. But those times are very few and far between. But they,
yeah.
yeah, okay. For me, I like you. I struggle to know whether I would label it angry with God or frustration. You know, like I think there's a difference there.
Yeah.
But there were 2 times in my life. One, and somewhat related, and you know, if for people who have sharing it feels weird a little bit because for people who haven't been in the shoes, they're going to go, oh, it doesn't sound so bad. But one time is more relatable, and that is with you know. Wait, where do I start with this without making it super long? Well, okay, let me put it this way. I've spoken many times about you know, the journey that we've been on with my wife and her health and whatever. And so, but that when the bad things started happening, I really didn't have any anger for God whatsoever. The only time that frustration or anger started to settle in was like years down the track where I'd just been worn down over time. And so I think there was definitely a few years in, there was some times where I was feeling angry with God because, you know, we had we had prayed, we had done everything that we could. We found all the doctors. We'd done we went to the elders and had her anointed. We did all the things that you're supposed to do to, get God's help, and nothing happens, And it took a while for me to sort of get through that and be like, okay, I have a bigger view now, and that's kind of okay. The other one, and more recently, and as I said, this is the one that maybe less people can relate to, but in business, where when you're responsible for the livelihoods of people, and you are trying to figure out how to make that work over long time horizons. Again, that's wearing over time, and I've definitely had moments over the last 5 years where I've had those moments where I've been I would say that's definitely crossed into anger, because again, similarly, right? I'm doing everything that I possibly can. There's nothing left that I could be doing, and I feel like God's still not listening. And I feel like he is answering my prayers. I just didn't have a clear perspective on how long was healthy for me to wait for those prayers to be answered. So I think now I'm starting to see his reasoning, and so I've processed it now. It's in the past. But yes, definitely that has been like over the course of years trying to sort of untangle some of those things for me.
See, another one that actually just popped up into my brain, and I just haven't thought about it in a long time because I've become okay with it.
Yeah.
And it's like, that was with my back, and I've early settling arthritis on my knuckles, and joints always hurt, especially when rain is coming. I can tell rain a few days before it comes, and the weather app's like, oh, it's going to be all sunny. And I'm like, no, there's rain, and it rains. But early on, near the end of high school, and maybe just after it, 2018, I went to a rise and all of that. And through that time, probably a little bit before that, I really struggled with having a constantly sore back, basically. I'd do stretches, and there'll be times where it's better, but then there was times where I could barely walk because it was just really pinching a nerve somewhere, or I pulled it, and it was so bad. And I remember a couple times where I'm just at night where I couldn't really sleep, and I'd just be crying and being like, God, take this away from me, because I don't want to deal with this. It's too hard. And I'm there arguing with God. And there's been a couple times I've been anointed for my back, and I feel like it feels better for a few weeks or whatever, and then it comes back. I'm like, oh, okay. But I've gotten to a point where, it's kept me, I know, a few times quite humble, and going, okay, I need to actually think about how I take care of my body, how I do all this stuff. And it kind of reminds me when Paul got his thorn in his side.
I was just about to say that, yeah.
And especially during 2018, I can't remember if it was during the actual classes or in the second half of the year, where I'm just like, you know what? If this is my thorn in my side, because I got it anointed as well during early, in that first part of it, when I was at the Rises doing classes and all that, for it to get better, and it didn't really. I'm like, then I was learning a bit about that. I'm like, you know what? If this is my thorn on my side and it helps me stay true to God, then okay, I'll have it. Yeah. I don't care if pain comes and pain goes, sort of thing, as it does. But if it's there, it's there, and if it keeps me true to God, then it's a blessing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, but I totally forgot about it until you were talking about with your wife and the health issues, and I'm like, and it all yeah. And so that's another time I've been pretty angry with God. And I'd say that's more angry than when I didn't really have friends. The friends were kind of just like, I really need this. I was upset more than angry type thing.
That's
so,
fair.
Yeah.
I was thinking, as we were just chatting then, I was thinking about different Bible characters, because it feels like there's this unwritten rule. I don't know. I'm curious if it was the same for you guys growing up. It's this unwritten rule that you're not supposed to be angry with God, right? There's this inherent feeling of, oh, well, that doesn't seem right. I shouldn't be angry with God. But it's actually not without precedent. I was thinking of King David. I just turned up Psalm 13. Psalm 13 verse 1 says, "How long, O Lord, will you forget me forever? How long will you hide your face from me? How long shall I take counsel in my soul, having sorrow in my heart daily? How long will my enemy be exalted over me? Consider and hear me, my God. Enlighten my eyes, lest I sleep the sleep of death, lest my enemies say I have prevailed against you." So, like, there's plenty of examples in the Psalms in particular where David is expressing a fair amount of frustration at God, right? And yet we know that he is on such close terms with God. Just not necessarily expressed in those ways.
See, I heard growing up a little bit, and it wasn't explicit like, oh, don't get angry with God because of this. It's just all things work together for good for those who love God. And so there's a subtle message, like, or I don't know, subtleness about that where it's like, oh, things will work out for the better. It's going to be okay. Don't worry about it. And so there's a part of it's like, well, this stuff is going bad. And I can see this in other people's story as well. It's like things are going bad, but like your want to say is, oh, don't worry, like things will work out for God's glory, like God's goodness, because you love God. And like, and that's not exact, like, I know, and I've heard other things like that's not the best way to use that, or probably not the right time, stuff like that. And because I think it gets to the things like, oh no, it's going to be okay. Don't be angry with God. You're getting frustrated. I see that because of all these things going wrong, but it'll turn out good. Yeah. And it's like, I can see that's not the best way to go about it. And if you think,
I would agree. I'm curious. What do you see about that as not the best way to process it? Because I would agree with you, but I'm interested in your reasoning.
Because especially during the moment, it shows like that it's an invalid for feeling that way. Yeah. When really, pretty much all the time, there's a valid reason for them. And it takes time just to sit in that with that person and go, hey, it's okay to not know. It's okay to be angry. And like you have it open with Job, and like that's a great example where his friends do come and sit with him, but they also don't say the best stuff. They go, well, you must have done something wrong. You can't be perfect, or oh, they must have done something wrong, and all this sort of stuff. And it's like trying to make excuses
trying to come up with a reason for it.
Yeah.
Like, well, if God did it, then there must be a reason.
Yeah.
What if the reason is just we live in a sinful world?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. This comes back to why do bad things happen to good people, right? Like that's the one of those age-old questions that has faced Christianity. But I think you're right. Number one, it invalidates their experience, and also you don't know that. Yeah. Right. You just don't know that. The passage that people often cite, all things work together for good, those that love God and are called according to His purpose. Right. Romans 8:28. I hate the way some people treat that verse because they use that like almost as, and again, I think some people use this expression in a well-meaning way, but they kind of use it as a replacement for, everything happens for a reason. Like Emerson was just leading up to. Sometimes the reason is because you did something stupid, or because we live in a world that's unfair, or whatever it might be. Because when you say everything happens for a reason, yes, it's true that there is a reason, but that doesn't mean that God wanted that thing to happen, right? Yeah. And I think it's really important that we
like bad decisions. Bad decisions lead to bad outcomes.
Yes.
So there's that, So in that aspect, it does. There is truth to the claim that, oh well, you did something evil, and so therefore this bad thing has happened to you, because
sometimes,
a lot of the time, bad decisions lead to bad outcomes. So there's a little bit of a validity to that, but it's not always. Not everything bad is because not everything bad that happens to you is because you did something bad.
No, that's right. I mean, babies that get chronic illness, it's kind of like,
yeah, that's right. Well, what did they do?
Yeah, what did they do?
Yeah.
And what did their parents do?
Yeah.
Probably nothing. Like it's just that we live in this world.
That's right.
The great controversy, like all of that. What that verse that I was citing before, like the real point of that, and I think it sort of factors into what you're saying, is that God can use any circumstance, no matter how bad it is. Yeah. He can turn that around and He can do something constructive with it. And I believe that. Absolutely. But there's a big difference between God being able to use something that Satan has attempted to do to make things better. There's a big difference between that and God causing that thing to happen because he wanted it to happen. There's a massive theological difference.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Sorry, I think I interrupted you before. I did.
Oh, I was just going to make the point on what I was saying, that on the other hand, it is also true in that you say, well, our parents did something evil which has now led to our suffering, which is Adam and Eve, right?
Yeah.
So you can say that there's a bit of validity to that as well, but then again, it's still not. It's still not always the case. In the case of, Job, he suffered. He did nothing wrong. His children suffered, and still he did nothing wrong, right? And you just go. But when I'm reading the book of Job, I can see that there's something else going on in the background, but he can't.
Yes.
And it's why we have it.
I was just looking at Job chapter 10. My soul loathes my life. I will give free course to my complaint. I will speak in the bitterness of my soul. I will say to God, do not condemn me. Show me why you contend with me. He's blaming God for what he's experiencing. Show me why you contend with me. Does it seem good to you that you should oppress, that you should despise the work of your hands and smile on the counsel of the wicked? Do you have eyes of flesh, or do you see as man sees? Are your days like the days of a mortal man? Are your years like the days of a mighty man? And so he goes, that you should seek for my iniquity and search out my sin. So he's definitely throwing this at God. But the interesting thing is, in the book of Job, it says that in all this,
He didn't sin.
Mm-hmm.
Job did not sin.
And you can kind of see it even with a few of the questions. Like, he's saying questions, are you this? When it's, you can't, like, and I'm not sure whether or not he was being facetious, if that's the right word, or like sarcastic, like, you're not meant to be this. This is something I know you're not, but like, are you this because of this is happening? These are what my friends are telling me. All of that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like he's asking a question, even though it seems as though he would know the answer to that.
Yeah.
But he's questioning it or something.
Yeah, Job 1:21. After he loses everything, it says, and he said, naked I came from my mother's womb, and naked I shall return. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. In all this, Job did not sin, nor charge God with wrong. So, his first response, and he goes on to be angry with God in great detail through 40 chapters or something.
Yeah.
But his first response is, okay, well, I lost all of the things that God gave me.
Yep. Yeah.
And so he's like, well, how can I be angry with God?
He gave it, he can take it away.
When he's the one that gave it to me. So I praise God for the opportunity that I had to live through the time of good that I had.
Yeah. That's an amazing mindset.
It's an incredible mindset.
Yeah.
That's right. It's like I can see it in my children when I give them something nice, like a treat, and they eat it up, and then they go, I want another one. I'm saying, well, no, you just had one. Oh, I'm so upset that I don't have another one. And I say, well, why aren't you thankful that you had one?
Yeah.
Like, you need to change your mindset. And that's basically exactly what I say to them.
Yeah.
Is you need to change your mindset because you're not actually being thankful that you got to have the treat. So why would I give you another one?
Yep.
And we can be a lot like that. Yeah. I think that's the case with Job is he had such a wonderful life and then it was taken away. And oftentimes the people that are the closest with God are the people who have nothing, and I think it's because, well, they've got no reason to be upset if they lose anything. how can they be angry with God when they lose something?
You
They
don't have
nothing to
anything in the
lose.
first place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's obviously, not the case with Job. Were you going somewhere?
Oh, I'm just looking for a verse that I know it's here somewhere, and I have not found it. I was just it's in Jeremiah, starting in verse 7, chapter 20, verse 7. O Lord, you induced me, and I was persuaded. You are stronger than I, and have prevailed. I am in derision daily. Everyone mocks me. For when I spoke, I cried out. I shouted violence and plunder, because the word of the Lord was made to me, a reproach and a derision daily. Then I said, I will not make mention of him, nor speak any more in his name. But his word was in my heart like a burning fire. But this is a good passage, but it's not the one that I thought it was. So I'm going to stop there.
I was wondering where you were going with it.
Yeah.
It
So
is a good passage.
it is a good passage, but it does not support my opinion. Yeah.
Well, he's a bit angry there with God anyway.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's true. But it's still not the point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to. One of the other things that I wanted to point out though was Ephesians chapter 4, verse 26, because I think this is kind of getting us closer to the center point of where I think this idea leads us.
Yeah, and I think a lot of places as we're getting there often show God's anger with the situation as well. Like I think of Moses when Moses gets angry with the Israelites, God gets angry with the Israelites about what's happening.
Yeah.
And then it gives Moses the chance to be like, oh no, it's okay.
Yeah.
Don't do that. It'll show a bad thing. But and with Job, God also seems angry in some sort of sense in his response, but that's more about what's happening, I guess.
Yeah, well, that's a good question then. So
Yeah.
what does God get angry about? So you've given a couple of examples there, right? With the things that are happening, and those things that are happening are typically sin, right? They're injustice.
Yeah.
He's especially angry when we see children being abused.
Yeah.
When we see those kind of injustices happening, all of a sudden God is not just cranky, God is fiery. We that's very clear, and I am actually very glad that we have a God that is angry in the face of injustice.
Yeah.
What kind of a God would he be if he wasn't?
And it shows us if we're trying to have the character of Christ, and his character is like God's character, it's God gets angry about these things, and he's going to be more than okay with us being angry and asking these questions like Job when those injustices are happening to us. It could even just be we feel like this is happening, but if we come to God and talk with him, then God's able to answer us and ask us stuff. But yeah.
I think almost every instance of God being angry in the Bible is idolatry. And it's I am your God. I've married myself to you, and you're going to go and worship this thing that you created with your own hands. It's a betrayal,
Yes.
It's a betrayal of God's trust that really, really gets him going. Like when he destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah, he wasn't angry at them. He was just like, oh man,
Yeah.
I'll,
He was stopping the pain.
I'll wipe them out for their own good, Like he wasn't angry at them. He was just disappointed,
Yeah.
He was sorrowful. But then you look at the Israelites, and they turn away from him and start worshiping Baal, and he gets angry.
But I think it's not just him being angry in the betrayal of the fact that he loves us and his people have betrayed him. I don't think it's that alone. I think he also knows us inside out and knows that we are living our best lives and we are at our happiest when we are in right relationship with him. And you look at what happens. Israel goes and starts worshipping Baal, and what happens to Israel? Invariably, Israel begins to sacrifice their children to Molech. They start doing all of these
People
things.
come in and take over.
Yeah,
and
and
take
ultimately,
them away.
that's right. They
Yeah.
go into exile. They go taken captive. Like, it is in their best interest as well. It's not just God saying, "Oh, you're mine and I'm being possessive." God's saying, "Do you really want to go through that
Yeah.
or again? Like, can we stop this right about
Mm.
now?" But another example. Sorry.
It's made clear in the story of Hosea
Yes, great example.
when God goes, well, you want to understand what I'm going through? Well, I want you to marry a prostitute who's inevitably going to cheat on you all the time.
Mm.
And so Hosea marries Gomer, and she's a very broken woman. And he falls in love with her, and then she just sleeps around and betrays him, and that's how God feels when his people,
Yep.
but the love is still there,
Probably one of the most salient examples of God's anger is in Jesus' example, right? Jesus is in the temple and he casts the money changers out, and that description it's not gentle Jesus. It's Jesus in full Avengers mode. He's casting them out. He makes a whip out of cords. That's premeditated, right? Like he is it doesn't say that he's beating people, mind you, but he is very much going there with an intention, and the intention is to drive them out, and he does that very effectively.
Yeah.
So, and I think that what is it about that made him angry?
The injustice for those who are coming to give sacrifices to forgive their sins when they're extorting. Yeah.
I don't know if he was necessarily angry, but I think, again, to my experience as a father, and I'm standing on top of a ladder holding something heavy, and one of my children is standing underneath the ladder. If I say, "Hey, can you go back to your room, please?" and they ignore me, what do I do?
Yell at them.
I have to yell at them, right? I have to be loud, and I have to get their attention in order to get them to move. It's the only way to keep them safe, And reading the story of the clearing the temple, it seems to me that he went to that extreme length because it was the only way to get them out.
Yeah, yes, but I would say that the primary problem with what was going on in the temple is, yes, the extortion is a problem. Yes, the getting them out. Yes. I think the core problem, though, is that in allowing that to take place, the spiritual leaders of the time, were demonstrating a false picture of who God is, and they were teaching the people of Israel that God is a transactional God. And so if an entire generation is deceived by the idea that God is trying to extort money from them, how do you come back from that, right?
Yeah.
And so I think he was doing that specifically to bring back that idea of the true nature of what the temple was for. And you can see that in the Gospels, because what happens right after he runs them out of the temple?
He brings the children in, doesn't he?
Yeah, children come in and he starts healing people,
Mm.
right? So he restores the usage of the temple to what the temple was designed to do, to teach people what the actual character of God was like. So I said before I was going to Ephesians, so I want to land on that verse for a second. Ephesians chapter 4 and verse 26. This is actually, I might even read verse 25. Therefore, putting away lying, let each one of you speak truth with his neighbor, for we are members of one another. Be angry, do not sin. Do not let the sun go down on your wrath, nor give place to the devil. So does he say, don't be angry?
No, he says resolve it before you go to sleep.
Yeah, that's true. So be angry, but don't let it turn into bitterness.
I'm just asking
fester.
a question. Is there a difference between be angry and don't let the sun go down in your wrath. Like wrath and
Is
anger.
wrath and anger the same thing?
Yeah, because are
say
they
the-
using different words?
Well, keep talking and I'll tell you.
Because like if they are different, that means like your wrath has to cease before the sun goes down. Before
I feel like anger is an emotion, but wrath is like what is seen.
yeah, that could be.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I was
I'm
just trying to think. That whole time I was trying to think of what the difference was.
Yeah,
I apologize.
and-
I should have been listening to what you were saying.
oh no, yeah, all good. Because like, and I haven't really thought about it too much before. I just was seeing that they use a different word, and is that same in the original like Greek? Are they using different words or?
Okay, so be ye angry or gidzo,
It's so.
to provoke or enrage, or to be angry. Yes. Okay, so that's the first one.
Wrath. It should be at the end of that
Yeah.
verse 26.
Wrath. Here we are. Different word. Paragismos. From the root word for rage.
Yeah.
Which, if I go back to the root word rage, to anger alongside, to enrage, to anger, or provoke to wrath.
So it is similar.
Yeah.
It just has,
Similar, but-
and it could be that
Mm.
thing you were saying where one's the emotions, one's the dealing out, or what people see from that anger.
Yeah.
So it might not be saying like you can still have that anger about whatever that topic, but don't let it be so much that people see that you're angry, or that you're physically like.
Yeah.
I
See,
don't know.
in Revelation, it's referred. His wrath is referred to when dealing and ridding the earth of sin.
Yeah, so the
You know,
action.
It's it's like
more
the
to do with
action.
judgment.
Yeah, yeah, the judge. Yeah, that's right. But my point is the wrath is the action of
Mhm.
being angry,
Mm.
whereas with Job, he was angry, but he didn't smash anything. With Jonah, he was angry with God for not destroying Nineveh, and what did he do? He went and sat under a bush,
Yeah.
a vine. So he was angry, but there was no wrath. There was no. He didn't go out there with a stick and beat up a vine. That I feel like is more wrath. It's sort of
Yeah, I was just reading here. It
my
says
takeaway.
the verse in the Greek uses a word which refers to a slow, settled disposition of anger, not a flash of rage. It is a deep, simmering kind that comes from something that is genuinely wrong, not a momentary flash of anger, like injustice or betrayal. It carries a sense of moral weight. The distinction, roughly, is that one is the kind of anger that recognizes something is broken, where you feel that you see suffering or injustice which doesn't line up with what you know about God's character. Paul is saying that anger is going to happen, but and that is not inherently sinful. But then do not sin is the guardrail. Don't let it become thumos, which is the explosive outbursts of anger. So you're actually closer than we thought, with the wrath being more of the action, the explosive nature of it. Don't let it fester overnight. Don't let it harden into bitterness.
Mm. And it's protecting if you don't have your wrath continue or your anger continue overnight, then it's protecting you against that bitterness simmering over it.
Do you have a hard time letting go of anger, personally?
Yes, like sometimes it takes a few minutes.
As soon as a problem is resolved that I'm angry about, the anger disappears. For me, if there's an issue that is not logical and I can't fix it, that's the thing that angers me the most.
Yep.
Oh man, I can't handle it.
Yeah.
And I go out and I grab a stick and I beat up a tree.
Yeah.
You know, and that helps. But and you know, being the only man in my house, it happens every now and then. But I won't say more than that. But if there's something that's frustrating me and I fix it, then the frustration disappears.
Mm.
You know,
Yep.
that's, you know, or if there's something that I'm angry about, and then, oh, actually that makes sense. It disappears.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yep.
But yeah, it's
Yeah. No,
so
I was
long
just
as
curious.
so long as the issue
I was just thinking,
remains there, the anger remains. In my case, I would say.
Mm.
that's fair.
I've never been really able to. You know, I have. No, I can get over it, but it usually takes me going out. And I used to have a punching bag when I had babies.
Mm-hmm.
These kids that don't make any sense. It's all emotions and no logic. I go out and I punch the bag. That would make me feel better.
Fair enough. I had a wives are smart, by the way. Can you guys attest to this? Like,
Yeah.
Got wives are
I don't
very
think
smart.
I don't think that my wife has ever been wrong about anything.
Yeah. But this morning something happened which stuff doesn't get under my skin real easy, but there was something that happened this morning that I was so emotionally affected by, like from a stress perspective, that I couldn't think properly. I couldn't focus on my work. I felt nauseous, and Sarah came down, and I was chatting to her about it, and she's like, "Should come and come out and we'll go for a walk." I said, "I'm busy. I can't. I got to work." And she's like, "Yeah, but you just said that you're having trouble working. Like, let's just go for a walk." And I'm like, "No, I have to do this." And she's like, "Why don't you go and reset your nervous system? Like, go and have a shower." And I'm like, "No." Anyway, and then we talked for a bit longer, and she's like, "I need you to check the level of water in the tank. I need to know how much is in it." And I'm like, "Yeah, sure." I went out and I got the ladder, and I'm up the ladder opening the tank, and I'm like, "Wait a second." I'm like,
She gotcha.
yeah, she got me. I'm like, wow, the sky is really pretty and blue. and look at this. That's really not that bad. Anyway, and so that kind of set me on a set of rails. And I'm like,
Oh, dear.
okay, this is probably not that bad, but yeah. And you know what? That actually, I'm going to share this. This is unrelated to the topic that we have here, but this is important because I think it's something that is helpful. How easy is it for you when you have something that's happening that's ruining your day, or just a challenge you have, a temptation is there? How likely are you to send a message to somebody else to ask for help or prayer? How likely are you to
I
do
don't
it?
think I've ever done that in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was
Next
challenged.
to 0%.
I do it a little bit, just with my wife, like
Yep.
Zoe. Like if it's something that's really, so I'll need time to think about it. So when I do go to ask, it doesn't come up with a big type thing, or break down and cry because it's over stressful or whatever. But yeah. I have sometimes, but I don't often get to a point where I feel like I need to go and ask, especially for prayer or something. It's just because I can talk with God myself and have that conversation. But there's been a couple times I have with Zoe.
Yeah. Well, this week I had a call with a guy that he's it's a name that if I used his name, a lot of people that are listening would probably know him. He's quite a well-known figure, and he offered to, in his words, I just want to journey with you, and if you would find that helpful. And I didn't fully know what he meant by that, but we've had we've stayed in touch over the last 4 or 5 months. He's an older guy, and when I was chatting to him last time, he said to me, I know I've said before, you can always ask me to pray or whatever. He said, but I want to challenge you that, he said, I don't find it very easy to ask for that. And he said, and I've been working on it for a really long time, but he said, I have started doing it with some other friends of mine, and I've just found it to be a real blessing. And he said, and one of the key reasons for that is that if you get out of your own headspace long enough, even if it's just a question, a message that says, please pray. Like, it doesn't have to be an explanation. I don't even need to know what I need to pray for, but just the knowledge that you need prayer, that tells me all I need to know, and I can be praying for you. And he said, and like, I'm being really clear that I want you to do that, right? So do that. He said, but the impact of that is not just on the fact that I will pray for you and my prayers are somehow more effective than yours. That's not the point. He said the point is that it will help you make better decisions in the moment, because all of a sudden you've got the weight of my prayers on your conscience as well. And he said it's remarkable when you ask for prayer for something and you're like wrestling over a decision, it becomes easier to make the right decision. And I thought,
Wow.
you know, that has a sense of correct feeling to that. Like, I'm like, yeah, I can see how that would work. And anyway, after I had that interaction with Sarah and she got me to go and check the tank, and I'm like, oh, and in that break, I remembered his request, and I'm like, I'm gonna take him up on that. And so I didn't tell the whole story or whatever. I just sent a short message and asked him for prayer, and he responded quite quickly and you know, just with some encouragement. And it was remarkable how, like, hearing from like outside of my bubble, how fast that got me back to a state of calm. And I'm like, well, number one, maybe his prayers worked, and it was just maybe they were super prayers, but maybe I got out of my headspace long enough to realize that other people were in my corner and praying for me as well, so I could, you know, experience that faster and be open to the Holy Spirit helping me through that. And anyway, that was an experience that I had, totally off topic, but it was a pretty powerful experience this morning. I just thought I'd share.
Nice.
Cool.
So,
I've got a question. So, in Jonah, right?
Now, there's a good example.
So I want to read a bit from Jonah. I want to ask a question. So in Jonah chapter 3, he goes to Nineveh. He preaches. The whole city, what would you say? Converts, I would say. Repents, right? And in verse 10 of chapter 3, then God saw their works, that they turned from their evil ways. And God relented from his disaster that he had said he would bring upon them, and he did not do it. But it displeased Jonah exceedingly, and he became angry. So God said to, so the Lord, hang on.
So he prayed?
So he prayed to the Lord and said, here we go. Lord, it is, my goodness, I'm not doing well. Lord, was not this what I said when I was still in my country? Therefore I fled previously to Tarshish. For I know that you are a gracious and merciful God, slow to anger and abundant in loving kindness, one who relents from doing harm. Therefore now, O Lord, please take my life from me, for it is better for me to die than to live. Then the Lord said to him, is it right for you to be angry? All right. So my question is, he says, is it right for you to be angry? But he doesn't, but is it still okay to be angry with God, even if you're wrong? Because in the case of Jonah, he was incorrect, right? Because what God did was the right thing, and what Jonah wanted God to do was the wrong thing. So he's angry with God. Is God saying it's not okay that you're angry with me? Or is he saying,
you're angry at me for the wrong reasons?
Wrong. Like, you know?
Yeah.
So, stop. So is there a difference between, is it right for you to be angry, and is it okay for you to be angry? Because I guess, because of the question we've asked is it okay to be angry with God? Where God says to Jonah, is it right for you to be angry with me in this instance? I don't know.
Yeah, I definitely would say that God's calling Jonah out because Jonah is demonstrating that he's angry with God because God is good.
Which is completely wrong.
Yeah,
completely wrong. Whereas in Job's case,
By the way, in that thing that you just read, I find that particular passage mind blowing because he's literally saying, "I knew before I even left home that I was going to preach. They were going to repent, and you were going to have mercy on them. I already knew that you were loving. Yeah, I already knew that you were loving,
And
that's why I'm angry with you.
Yeah, that's why I didn't want to go. Well, like
pride
historically, he lived in a town not far from Nineveh.
Gethifa.
Yeah. And so he knew all about them, and he obviously did not like them
Still about 800 kilometers.
at all. Yeah, but
So
in the
is there-
ancient world, that's just down the road.
Yeah, right. Without cars and trains and planes. Yeah, it's 800 Ks. Just
That's like living in the Northern Territory.
I did see. I did see something online, whether or not it was true, but apparently they found a tomb, very, very and this is like next door neighbors with Nineveh or whatever, where they found a tomb, accredited to Jonah
Oh yeah.
as the prophet, sort of thing. So their theory was that he did stay around Nineveh from after the book of Jonah ends. He stayed with
doesn't come home.
Nineveh, and after he had this conversation, he stayed and lived and died
there you
near
go.
Nineveh. But that's just something I
know.
saw.
that
and
would, if that's true,
Speculation town.
yeah, speculation town. But I was like,
but if it's true, it's quite a satisfying end to the story because that would mean that he chose not to, he had love for them, right?
Yeah.
That's what it would imply if he
Yeah.
decided
He
to spend
changed
the
his
rest.
mind when
Yeah.
they changed.
Yes.
Then
Yeah.
he changed his mind, and
But-
that'd be that's the way I hope the story ends.
It doesn't tell us otherwise.
The book ends so abruptly,
Yeah.
which we were talking about before. It's probably the funniest book in the Bible, I would say. Jonah.
You reckon?
Yeah, I think so.
You know who's the only
There's so
person in
much
the whole Bible
Funny stuff.
who obeys God better than anyone else in the whole book?
Daniel? Who?
In the book of Jonah.
Oh, in the book of John. In the Bible. Who
I'm like,
obeys God
wow,
better than
what
anyone?
version is this, man?
The sailors?
Yeah. Yeah.
Literally.
These pagan sailors, literally the best followers of God in the whole book. They're the only ones that consistently do everything God tells them to do.
Yeah.
And happily so.
Well, I don't think they were very happy to throw Jonah over the boat.
No. But yes, they were reluctant to do that.
They
But
were very
what I mean is Jonah is consistently going the opposite direction to what God's asking him to do, and he's like, oh well, God throw me over. Or they're like, no, let's try rowing. Oh, that's not working. Like, all right, you're next. Off you go. Anyway, right. So just
What's interesting is just a bit of a Jonah tangent because I love the book so much. Is the sailors in the beginning of the story are a bit of a type of what would happen to Nineveh if they didn't repent, because in a sense, the sailors are going, Jonah is causing these issues, we need to kill him. But we don't want to kill him. So Jonah, make things right with your God. He says, no, I'm not gonna. And they say, okay, we're going to have to kill you. The same thing happens with Nineveh in that God says, Nineveh, you're causing all of these problems. I'm going to have to kill you. Please make yourselves right with God. And they say, okay.
okay, yeah,
And he doesn't kill them, right? And so in a sense, Jonah lives out the fate of Nineveh and then goes into the belly of the whale and then comes and preaches in Nineveh and is still angry that God saves them.
That's like,
wow.
really.
Yeah. Anyway, such a good book.
So okay, so maybe let's
But
put a point on this.
Back to the question:
Yes.
Is it okay to be angry with God?
Absolutely yes.
But then is it right?
But only if you have a good
then when
reason.
you
If you have a bad reason, then it's not right.
but God's still there to talk with you
That's right.
about it.
Come,
and
let us reason together.
Let
That's
us
right.
reason together.
That's right. He's
So,
a reasonable God.
It's okay to be angry, and if you're going to be angry at anyone and talk with them about it, be angry with God and talk to Him about
That's
it.
right.
Because if you don't talk with God about your anger, you're going to talk with other people, and other people, like we see with Job, don't always have the best
Mm.
opinion, and you're gonna get thrown this way, that way with all the things, and you could leave God entirely
Mm.
because you haven't come to talk to Him about your anger.
Mm.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah, well,
that's the main
that's
point.
what God says to Job. Hang on, in Job chapter 37,
Is it 40?
39 maybe.
Doesn't God show up in chapter 40?
I think it's before that. Is it 40 maybe? No, it's before that. It's 38. Yeah, he says to Job. Goodness, I'm getting confused. He says, "Who is this who darkens counsel
With words without
by
knowledge.
words without knowledge?" Right, and so he's referring to Jonah's friends, and he's like, "Why are you getting counsel from these idiots?
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's
Why aren't you talking to me?"
I think it's an interesting observation that you both are making here, because if it's okay to be angry with God, but it's only okay to be angry with God for the right reasons. What are the right reasons? Well, I think the right reasons are the fact that you misunderstand God, because Jonah is angry with God and fully understands him.
Fully understands him.
He
Yeah,
is
it's
making,
interesting.
So, and the people that are angry with God, that God seems to be happy with, are Job, King David, right? These guys, they're saying, "Oh God, have you forgotten me?" They're angry with God, but they're angry with God because they think God has forgotten them, but God hasn't. And so God is very happy to reason with us and correct our understanding of His character, but He doesn't have patience for us if we fully understand His character and reject it, because that's exactly what Satan did.
Yeah. Wow.
I think that's kind of the kernel of truth in this one.
Very good.
Do you guys have anything to share before we wrap this one?
No, I think that's a very good note to end
Yes.
on what you just said.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, we will leave it there. If you have enjoyed this, please share it with a friend. And we remind you of this every week. But what we do this, yes, because we want to share what we've learned with others if it's helpful. But at the end of the day, we do this because we enjoy this and we get to grow together as fellow believers and journey together with each other. So if you would like that in your experience, call a friend. Say, hey, come over for dinner this week and do that. Chat about God. Go home. It's great. We could highly recommend. So if you don't have that in your life right now, make it a priority. It's very important to your spiritual health. And so we encourage you to do that. If you do it, tell us about it. Send us a selfie. Tag us on Instagram. We would love to see that, and we'll definitely show it on the show here and give you guys a shout out. So we'll leave it there. Have a great week, and God bless.
God bless.